Puppies are not bound to adhere to our expectations, as I am reminded often.
Why is nothing with you easy?
I mean, the hardest part of training a new puppy is knowing what to teach when. Because when dogs are all over the place, it can get overwhelming very quickly. Today, Biscuits the puppy is going to throw all kinds of curveballs at me, but there is one age-old question I've always had. Why do dogs get the zoomies? Wow.
She's so fast.
I've got an idea. What is going on in my dog's head right now? Send. I can get them video just like this. Jordan's from Fuzzy and she's telling me zoomies are a great way for dogs to show their excitement and joy for an activity. What? There's a science word for zoomies? Frenetic random activity period. Fraps! Is no one else amazed by this? Fraps. Who knew? These aren't just random people. Fuzzy is going to give you actual contact with true veterinary professionals. Is there any general advice you have on keeping her joints healthy, ? I've used this before. This is a good product. You can ask as many questions as you want. Sometimes your dog has some weird diarrhea. Sometimes your dog gets into things. I think you guys should definitely take advantage of this. They're giving you a free 7-day trial. I'm gonna have my special link, yourfuzzy.com/Zak, in the description. And tell me what you think. I've been thoroughly impressed with the service. You know, I probably should have known at the start of this day that Biscuits was in a pretty wild mood.
Yeah, get her. You tell her. Good job, Inertia.
Be sure you're subscribed if you like seeing real-world dog training. When puppies are biting like this and they're just really extra playful, it's probably a sign that you need to get out and do some training. So I think we need to get this girl out. Hopefully we can get some of this energy out and we can teach her how to walk better on leash. Not as easy as you might think with these small dogs.
Why is nothing with you easy? Ow.
The moment we started driving away to our training location for the day, Biscuits immediately started stressing out in her crate. I really want her in the best mood possible when we go into our training session. So all of those brain chemicals linked with frustration aren't necessarily going to help me, though she should understand how to process those emotions as she gets older, but I think we can still get a lot of benefit by showing her how to calm down and relax. So it became clear to me, I need to pull over because I've got to address this. Am I really like that dad that's like, hey, quiet back there, or I'm gonna pull the car over? So Bree took over driving duties while I decided to try to teach Biscuits how to feel more comfortable. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wait for her to get quiet. Quiet. Yes. I'm waiting for just a moment, guys, of quiet. Look at that tail. Get a reward for that. Now, I know you're thinking, hey, you're rewarding her for the barking. No, I'm not. I'm rewarding her for the quiet. Do you hear any barking? Yes. So, in all seriousness, though, this is what you have to look for. This is how you have to change your viewpoint when you're training a dog. I mean, let's face it, as people, when we're teaching puppies, most of our instinct is to correct, rather than acknowledge success from our puppies. So my game plan here is to reinforce the quiet behavior periodically. So she's doing well while the vehicle is completely still. I'm curious to see if the moving vehicle triggers her and makes her freak out. We're gonna try to preempt that by giving her some of her dog food as we start to move. Okay, here we go. Yes, so I'm gonna be preemptive. Okay. She started barking before I could deliver that treat. I really need to find a fraction of a second of quiet to acknowledge here. Yes, quiet, good girl. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer this time. Yes. See how I'm not letting her get to that point of whining? It's all about timing here. Now, naturally, you don't do this forever. This is how you get traction. This is how you start to communicate a new concept, in this case, quiet or calm behavior. Yes. Very good. And so I'll probably try to reward between every 15 seconds to a minute with a small piece of kibble. On a production note though, The continuity is driving us nuts. It's more pleasant to come down here off of the hill into the city of Anchorage to do our dog training because there's no snow down here, but all the shots from our house have snow everywhere. So understand, we live on the side of one of those mountains over there. That's why we have snow there and not here. We're doing pretty good here. We're on kind of a minutes-long streak. I probably haven't rewarded her in about 2 minutes now. Just like teaching kids what words mean, right? This is a really good example and quite interesting to see how finding the good behavior to reward can truly be effective. I talk about it not being intuitive a lot. I mean, most people, I think, if left to your own devices, would, you know, yell at the dog, try to scold them, try to get them to be quiet. Some people might hit the crate. Some people might, you know, go farther. I don't know. But if we can just hold off on that negative emotion and try to understand the periods of ideal behavior, yes, like quietness. So at first you're trying to get in there and say, yes, that, right there. And that's why we reward super rapidly when we're introducing a new concept. But here you can see in a single training session how we're dramatically lowering the rate of reinforcement. Looks like I waited too long there. She started to whine again. Quiet. Yes. Gonna take a step back. I'm gonna up that rate of reinforcement a little bit right now just to let her know quiet still pays. Yes. Good girl. Yes. I'm just gonna grab her now. I really hope you do well on leash walking today. I do, because you were a mess last time. No special treatment for small dogs. Whoa! Mushrooms are more closely related with humans and animals than they are to plants. And I know a lot of mushrooms up here especially can be toxic and harmful to dogs, so.
Yeah, that's why Zach is holding biscuits right now. I just wanted to show him that.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Not because I just want to cuddle with a puppy. Not at all. We're gonna do leash training out here, but I'm not just gonna jump into it. I think that's important to mention in these types of lessons. She has a lot of pent-up energy and she wants to get out there and see what the world is about. She doesn't want to necessarily go into school. Sometimes just running around and sniffing and being a dog, it's all they really need to get primed for a training session like today's. I see that sock. Who's gonna leave a sock in the middle of a field? Notice how the leash on Biscuits is being used to manage her and not to deliver a correction. Come. Yes. Then notice the alternative incompatible behavior I asked for. When you see how intensely she's after that sock on the ground, I mean, that was great. I guess she knows how to not pick up things off the ground now. Perfect. If only it were that easy. Biscuits. Let go. All right, looks like I need to do a pretty standard real life leave it training session and remind her what leave it means. Leave it. My mindset when I have to do this is to start completely over, to not assume that she has retained any of the leave it training I've done so far, because there are so many variables that have changed. Number one, I'm asking her to leave this stick alone. We've never done a leave it training session with this stick. I'm asking her to do it in a brand new environment where she's obviously very interested in everything around her. So you can understand why it might take a lot of reminding to your dog when you're teaching them how to leave things alone in the real world. Yes, good girl. This is the leave it, look at me combo, which we've been doing in a variety of different ways, like when she goes for the carpet and I give her that alternative behavior, getting her attention on me. Biscuits. Yes, good. I think a lot of people think of dog training as these formal lessons that you do, but really the dogs are truly taught in those brief moments throughout the day when you take 30 seconds here and 30 seconds there. Yes, you're doing great. And you can see a huge improvement here. I mean, you can see how she's more calm now. Yes, because we've let her adjust. We've exercised her. Okay, good girl. Got a ball over here. That's got to be tempting. I don't know if she's ever seen a ball like that. Yes, but she's stable. I love the stand stay. I really like it when a dog can learn to stand and hold the position instead of sit sometimes, just as an alternative. It's cool when they know both. You know, I love you very deeply. And it's not just puppy love either. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is puppy love. literally speaking. But I'm ready to get on with our walk. This is just kind of an example of what my pre-routine with her is when I go to a new environment like this. So I'm mostly confident that she's got it in her to have some success today on leash walking. We'll see. I feel a certain amount of pressure when I'm doing these type of leash training sessions because I want her to perform well, but then again, she might not be ready for a lesson like this. So there's still a lot of discovery going on with her. Good girl. I mean, look how curious she is. I don't know if she's ready for a real leash training session yet. You know, I mean, she is 4 months. So we can't, I mean, we just have to keep our expectations realistic, guys, okay? Come on. So I'm trying not to pull her along here when she's getting fixated. Ideally, a nice walk, she should be free to sniff, then we go, and, you know, have a nice cadence to it. I mean, that's pretty serious pulling right there that she's doing. She said, I don't care about the treat, but let me go over here and check this out. So I'm gonna let her do that for a sec. Just a sec though. Biscuits, come on. Good girl. So the environment is very reinforcing to her. So I need to look at this as how can I give her access to the environment when she's behaving well. So I'll be looking for just tiny bits of success and then maybe longer periods of enjoyment of the environment at first. Again, it's just about getting traction and communicating those very initial concepts in as clear a way as we can. And sometimes that's not always obvious. Come on, let's go. Good girl. She's generally pretty good about moving when I call her or encourage her to keep moving by saying, Biscuits, come on. I use that higher pitched voice because she's more responsive to it. For those of you who have naturally high pitched voices, you have a real gift that you can use when training your dog. And for those of you that don't, do your best. I love that about small dogs, that you can quickly gain control of them if an off-leash dog comes up to them that you're not sure about. So just an additional way to control the environment with a smaller dog. Of course, you can't do that with every dog, so that's why the leash is important. And that's also one of the reasons we're having such a heavy emphasis on calm behavior in public, especially when other dogs are within sight. Oh, whoa, whoa, what is that? Here we go. Can I have a sit, please? Yeah. Yes. You know, this apple is a nice, tempting object that I'd like to teach Biscuits to resist. Restricting her access there, yes. But when she looks up at me, go ahead and give her a little treat. Things that don't move are a little bit easier for a dog to resist than things that do move. Why did I reward there? Yes. Because I feared that if I move that apple or actually pick it up, that she's going to be tempted to break and go for it. So I'm trying to ease her into it. See, just moving it did it. Hypothesis supported. So I'd love for her to learn to resist this moving apple core. Yes. Hear me out. If she can resist it while it's moving, she's likely to be able to resist it while it's still in the future. Yes. See that timing. Yes. Catching her succeeding. Here. Yes. Here. Yes. Biscuits. Okay. Good. And then calling her away from the distraction. Really good opportunity to practice that. Come on, girl, over here. I mean, you can see that when you start practicing in a variety of different contexts with different items in different places, that your dog starts to generalize concepts like leave it alone and don't pick up things. But that takes months of practice. But these lessons are designed to help you lay that foundation so they know how to draw upon those things moving forward. And that's also why we try to show you adult dogs who have a lot of bad habits as well in these series, so that you see a variety of different approaches and dogs and behaviors. This is also really good, having her sit still at the street like this. I mean, eventually she should learn how to hold her stay when presented with a treat. See if she's receptive to the reward. Yeah, she is. You're doing so great. And since she's doing so well now, I'm gonna continue on with my walk here. Well, actually, no, I'm not. The dogs are coming back over here. Biscuits, come. Good girl. Yes. See there? So I was able to call her away from the approaching dogs. I'm gonna secure her now because they're off leash. Though they seem very friendly, but I'm gonna keep her kind of low this time. This is actually turning out to be some great desensitizing to dogs just waiting to get on into the neighborhood here. So I think right now, since her focus is kind of all over the place, we're in a neighborhood that has pretty wide streets. So I might start off doing kind of a version of a free walk. I'm gonna shorten the leash though, so she doesn't have too much freedom. And my plan is to just kind of wait for her to offer me brief moments of compliance and attention and see how that works with her. Right now, I'm just letting Biscuits do her thing, not focused on training right now. It's kind of a free walk of sorts. Well, the point I'm trying to make is that I'm letting her be wild, kind of. I think this is the most valuable takeaway in today's training so far, that our dogs can't learn everything at once. And knowing when to insist on a learning moment versus when to let things go can make a huge difference. After all, if I'm constantly requiring her to listen to me at every single moment, I'm likely to induce frustration, and that will be counterproductive to our lesson. Then, all of a sudden, we have 3 distinct distractions happen in rapid succession. A car driving by. See, she noticed it. A barking dog not too far in the distance. She hears a barking dog. And a low-flying airplane directly above us. I mean, all at one time. And this did seem to cause at least some temporary stress with Biscuits. I think she's a bit nervous at the moment. She stopped taking the treat. She's been taking treats all day. And she jumped up on me as though she was saying, hey, I don't know what that is. It's normal for her to be going through bouts of fearfulness as a puppy, so we want to be sensitive to that. I took this as my cue to keep things low-key as we continued on our walk. Okay, come on, let's go. Here. Seems to have recovered from her fearfulness there. Yes! Right here, I'm just rewarding not fast walking. When there's, yes! When the leash is loose, yes, going to acknowledge it. Okay, yes, look at that. These are the moments to seize on when you're training a dog. I mean, today, polite leash walking, as you've seen, has been pretty hard to come by, but finding literal seconds of nice, loose leash walking to reinforce is likely to transform how she walks on leash moving forward. But of course, something caught her attention in the bushes. Come. And she ignored come when called. And by shrinking my training bubble and being more obvious with a treat lure, come on, yes, I was able to get a successful come when called on my second attempt. Here. Biscuits, yes. Good. We'll turn around. Here. Biscuits. See how she's fighting the impulse to go and explore with, yes, paying attention to me. Very good example. You're watching learning unfold. Biscuits. Here. Yes. Here. Good. Okay. You can see. All right. She hears a dog, so let's test again. She's not interested in treats. She's a bit nervous. I'm not going to pick her up here. I want her to understand she can cope with it. Yes. Okay, we'll go away from it if you want. Good. Come. Yes. Good girl. Come here. It's going to be easier for her to come to me than it is walk beside me. I think the easiest way to get her to pay attention to me while we walk together is for me to walk backwards and have her come to me for a treat. And I'm making sure to reward when she's really close to me, like that. Good. Obviously, we can't walk backwards and feed her treats constantly moving forward. So now, we've been working on teaching her how to turn, yes, into the spin right there. Periodically, she just stops and looks around. You can see her using her senses, and the leaves are blowing around, getting her attention. Those are going to look a lot more enticing to her than to us from her perspective. Good, look at her little back up. Okay, yes. So we got her coming in front and now going to the side. By now, you should be getting a sense of the pace of a training session like this. We're taking advantage of moments when she's compliant, while being tolerant during moments when she's distracted. Almost. All right, she's getting the idea. So now, the idea is I can get her in those positions by teaching her how to move her body like this, use her back legs, her front legs, teach her how to pay attention when in a new environment like this, and do it in a way that she seems to enjoy. If one were to keep this up, you would think that she would tend to make a lot of progress moving forward. Okay. Yes. Yes. Really trying to reward over here just to keep her on one side of me. Yes, you can do whatever side you want. I prefer the right. But ultimately, dogs should know both. We're just trying to lay foundation while she's 4 months old here. I'm not expecting perfection at all. My competition is this side of the road with all of this vegetation. Here. Yeah. Yes, good. So a lot of restraint right there. Okay. Just like before when we were in the car and we were looking for a quarter second of silence from her, here we're looking for a quarter step with walking on a leash and staying next to me. And then hopefully we build up to a full step, and then 2 steps and 4 steps. Today I'm just trying to get at least 4. She's looking at me like she's interested in training. I like it when she goes into the sit and looks at me automatically. I've been rewarding heavily for that. It's a way for her to say, hey, I'm into playing that game that we do when you teach me new things and I get treats. Yes. Here. Good. Good girl. Nice correction there. Did you see how she looked up at me as she went past? That was cool. Here. Yes. Look at that. I stole a few extra steps there because she was so focused. Okay, come on. Yes. Teaching your dog how to walk nicely on a leash without pulling can be challenging at times. It's not as simple to teach as things like sit or stay or come. I mean, there's a variety of reasons. It's really unnatural. Dogs didn't really evolve, nor does it appear we selected for dogs to be good at leash skills. Usually they had to perform tasks that were far away from us. Think herding livestock or hunting dogs. But there's a lot more danger in today's society, so it's vital that we have to keep them on leash. But remember, don't be discouraged by that, because the one thing that dogs were selected for above all else was taking direction from people and coexisting well with us. Yes. Now, with the mental and physical workout that she's had today, I'm curious to see how she's going to do on the car ride home. Happy to report so far that we're driving several minutes now. She's been quiet. Just goes to show what a good workout can do for a dog, and training, just getting that energy out, giving them that satisfaction, tends to reduce anxiety tremendously. If you're new to having a puppy, I think you should try Fuzzy's free 7-day trial so that you have veterinary pros on standby anytime that you need them. In order to get that free trial, you'll have to use my special link, yourfuzzy.com/Zak. It'll be below. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, subscribe to my channel, get a copy of both of my books. I still have a lot of fun, interesting things to teach Biscuits before she goes to her new home.